The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. Picture a life unraveling at the seams. There's a young entrepreneur who used to be the darling of her industry. Now she's alone in a stark white bedroom, watching everything crumble. The company she built from scratch in her college dorm, it's being stolen from her in a backstabbing coup fueled by pure jealousy. The same world that once cheered her name now feels ice-cold and empty. She's running through options in her mind. A gun feels too violent, a noose too medieval, a knife too quiet. Then her eyes drift to a bottle of sleeping pills on the nightstand. Quick, clean, an escape from this crushing pain. It feels like life has just given up on her. But then something catches her eye. There, on her dresser, sits a ticket to some conference. Her mom bought it for her as a last-ditch gesture of hope. She'd always rolled her eyes at these motivational circus acts, all those self-proclaimed gurus selling answers she thought we already had inside us. But now, teetering on the edge of oblivion, she's down to two choices: drag herself to this seminar and maybe, just maybe, find something worth living for, or take those pills and finally find peace. What unfolds next is absolutely wild. It's bizarre, it's magical, and it reads like a modern fairy tale. This story is the beating heart of Robin Sharma's worldwide sensation, The 5 a.m. Club. We're not just talking about a book here. This is a full-blown movement. Over 15 million copies sold. Embraced by legendary entrepreneurs, elite athletes, and yes, even royalty. Why? Because buried in these pages is a formula. A real, actionable formula for owning your morning to transform your entire life. Robin Sharma, who's basically a leadership guru to the world's most successful people, spent 4 years perfecting this book. It's packed with the exact methods he's been teaching top performers for more than 20 years. Today we're pulling back the velvet rope on this exclusive club. By the time we're done, you won't just know the secret habit that separates the legends from the rest. You'll have the complete blueprint to take back your mornings, supercharge your focus, and wake up the hero that's been sleeping inside you all along. This isn't just about setting an earlier alarm, it's about waking up to your actual life. Let's dive in. Our story picks up right where we left off, with the entrepreneur walking into that conference hall, treating it like her last roll of the dice. She's not hunting for business advice, she's hunting for a reason to keep breathing. She slides into a seat next to someone who's her complete opposite. An artist with Bob Marley dreadlocks and arms covered in tattoos. He's bursting with creative fire but constantly shooting himself in the foot with his own mind games. He's good at what he does, but deep down he knows he could be extraordinary. Two total strangers, connected by this quiet, gnawing frustration that the life they deserve keeps slipping just out of reach. Then there's the guy on stage, the Spellbinder. He's a legend, a master of inspiration now in his 80s. He's not up there talking about life hacks or quick fixes. He's preaching about legendary work. He tells the packed stadium, life's too short to play small with your gifts. You were born with both the opportunity and the responsibility to become legendary. He paints a picture of a world drowning in cyber zombies, people glued to their screens, living the same boring week on repeat for decades and calling it a life. He says too many of us die at 30 but don't get buried until 80. His words hit like a slap across the face, begging people to stop chasing empty noise and start building something that actually matters. The entrepreneur and the artist are hooked. The Spellbinder isn't just giving a speech, he's a force of nature. But right as he's about to reveal the one habit that powers all success, he starts coughing violently. Then he collapses on stage. The whole event explodes into chaos. As everyone scrambles out, confused and scared, The entrepreneur and the artist stay frozen in their seats, trying to process what just happened. Then a voice cuts through from a few rows back. "Hey, you guys." They turn around to see a homeless man. His hair is a tangled disaster, face covered in stubble, clothes torn and stained. He shuffles over and plops down next to them. "So, did you guys dig the seminar?" he asks, scratching at a scab on his wrist. The entrepreneur goes ice cold. This is literally the last thing she needs right now. The artist, who's got a softer heart, actually engages with him. This homeless guy talks with this weird mix of surfer slang and deep philosophical wisdom. He claims he made his fortune thanks to the Spellbinder's teachings. The entrepreneur leans over to the artist and whispers, "Total nut job. If he's loaded, then I'm Mother Teresa." But then the artist spots something. On the homeless man's wrist is this massive, gorgeous timepiece, the kind you see on billionaire hedge fund types, easily worth 6 figures. The homeless man, who we'll later know as Stone Riley, keeps going with his bizarre sermon. He's dropping knowledge about business philosophy, the psychology of genius, neuroscience, all while acting like a complete weirdo. He's a walking contradiction. He seems absolutely insane, but his eyes have this confidence, this calm power of a lion. He tells them, "Rich people invest in time, poor people invest in money, so I can't stick around with you humans too long. Got a meeting with a jet and a runway." This is the moment everything shifts. Stone Riley, billionaire in disguise, makes them an offer that sounds completely bonkers. He invites them to his private oceanside estate in Mauritius to teach them everything he knows. He promises to show them the exact morning routine that built his empire, a method he calls the 5 a.m. Club. He'll fly them there on his private jet. Everything's covered. All he wants is for them to show up with open minds and a willingness to change. The entrepreneur and the artist are stunned. This could be a scam, could be dangerous. The guy's a total enigma. But something deep in their gut, some quiet instinct, whispers that this is exactly what they've been waiting for. The entrepreneur, remembering how close she came to ending everything, thinks, "Maybe life's been breaking me down so I can finally break through." She decides to take the leap. The artist's in too. They agree to meet him the next morning outside the conference center. The time, 5 in the morning, sharp. As he disappears into the crowd, the homeless man leaves them with one final echo. Own your morning. Elevate your life. The next morning at 4:49, the entrepreneur and the artist are standing on an empty sidewalk, drowning in regret. "This was such a terrible idea," the artist groans. "He's not showing up. All that hope from yesterday has evaporated into doubt." But then, a pair of bright halogen headlights slice through the darkness. A gleaming Rolls-Royce glides up to the curb. A chauffeur in a crisp white uniform steps out. "Mr. Riley," he explains calmly, "likes to dress in unassuming clothes when he feels the need to get gritty. He does this to keep his ego in check and stay humble." Then he drops the bomb. The man they thought was a homeless derelict is actually one of the wealthiest people on the planet. Their journey has officially begun. They're flown to Mauritius on a private jet with 5 AC painted on the tail for the 5 a.m. Club. The island is paradise on earth, stunningly beautiful and tranquil. They're taken to Mr. Riley's gorgeous but understated beachfront home. There, standing on the white sand, is a tall, tanned figure. It's the Spellbinder. He's alive and perfectly fine. He explains that he's been Mr. Riley's private mentor for years. The collapse on stage was just exhaustion. He tells them they're in for the adventure of their lives. The real teacher, though, will be Mr. Riley himself, who's about to pass on everything he's learned. The Spellbinder's last instruction for the day is simple. Be here on the beach tomorrow morning. Your training starts then. The time? 5 in the morning. This is where the real teachings of the 5 a.m. Club begin to roll out. The next morning, a vibrant, clean-shaven, incredibly fit Stone Riley bounces down to the beach. The homeless man act is gone, replaced by this charismatic, if still wonderfully eccentric, billionaire. He introduces them to the foundational philosophy behind his success. It's not just about waking up early, it's about what you do with that first hour. He calls it the victory hour, a sacred window from 5 to 6 a.m., completely free from distraction, where you strengthen your mind, body, and spirit for the battle ahead. He starts with a simple but powerful model, the 3-step success formula. He explains that all great achievements follow a pattern. Step 1 is better awareness. You can't improve what you don't see. When you learn new ideas like the ones in this book, your view of what's possible expands. Step 2 is better choices. With better awareness, you naturally start making better choices. You choose to wake up at 5 instead of hitting snooze. You choose to exercise instead of scrolling through your phone. Step 3 is better results. And better choices, repeated consistently, inevitably create better results. Your income climbs, your impact grows, and your life gets richer. He tells them that most people exist in a state of superficiality. They have a shallow grasp of their potential and cruise through life on autopilot. The key to legendary results, he says, is moving from superficiality to granularity. It's about deep, rigorous, almost obsessive attention to detail. It's about caring so much about your craft that you sweat the small stuff, because you know small things, done consistently, build mastery. Then he introduces them to the next framework, the 4 focuses of history makers. These are the 4 areas the world's greatest achievers zero in on. The first focus is capitalization IQ. Mr. Riley explains that greatness isn't about how much natural talent you're born with. It's about how much of that talent you actually use or capitalize on. Many of the world's finest athletes had less raw skill than their competitors, but their dedication and drive to maximize what they had made them legends. This is where the 5 a.m. Club becomes your secret weapon. That victory hour is your daily chance to develop your gifts. The second focus is freedom from distraction. This is a battle you absolutely have to win. An addiction to distraction, Mr. Riley warns, is the death of your creative output. In our modern world, attention is our most valuable currency. Technology, notifications, and constant interruptions create what brain scientists call attention residue. Every time you switch tasks, you leave a chunk of your focus behind. By day's end, your mental bandwidth is completely drained. The 5 a.m. hour, though, is perfectly quiet. It's a sanctuary where you can enter a state of flow, that magical zone where you do your absolute best work, ideas flow naturally, and you feel completely absorbed in what you're doing. The third focus is personal mastery practice. The quality of your morning practice determines how well you perform all day. He explains that you must work on yourself even more than you work on your job. This involves upgrading what he calls your 4 interior empires. 1. Your mindset, your psychology. This is about thinking positive, optimistic thoughts. But this is only 25% of the equation. 2. Your heart set, your emotionality. You can't produce amazing work if your heart's full of anger, sadness, or fear. You must process and release old wounds. Your emotional life has to be clean. 3. Your health set, your physicality. Longevity is the key to legendary. You can't change the world if you're sick or dead. Optimizing your health is absolutely essential. 4. Your soul set, your spirituality. This isn't about religion. It's about connecting to your highest self, your deepest values, and your life's purpose in the quiet of the morning. The fourth and final focus is day stacking. This is one of the most practical and powerful ideas in the entire book. Mr. Riley explains that your days are your life in miniature. As you live each day, so you craft your life. The secret to a gorgeous life is focusing on creating a series of gorgeous days. Small, daily, seemingly insignificant improvements, done consistently over time, yield staggering results. A 1% improvement each day equals a 365% improvement in a year. Don't stress about the whole year. Just focus on winning today. Stack great days, one on top of the other, and you'll build a spectacular life. Now the story takes another turn. Mr. Riley tells them it's time for the next lesson and whisks them away to Agra, India, to stand before the breathtaking Taj Mahal. He uses this wonder of the world as a metaphor for patience and grit. It took over 20,000 workers 22 years to build it. Mastery, he explains, isn't an event. It's a process. Here, in the shadow of this monument to dedication, he reveals the habit installation protocol. He explains that installing any new habit, especially a cornerstone habit like rising at 5 a.m., takes approximately 66 days. This process breaks into 3 stages, each lasting 22 days. Stage 1 is destruction. This is the brutal part. You're literally destroying old neural pathways and old patterns. Your brain fights back hard. It feels uncomfortable, sometimes like torture. You'll want to quit. This is totally normal. The key is pushing through. Stage 2 is installation. This is the messy middle. You're in unfamiliar territory. Your brain's building new circuitry. You'll feel confused and frustrated. The old you is dying, so the new you can emerge. It might feel like everything's falling apart, but really, everything's coming together. You have to stick with it. Stage 3 is integration. This is the beautiful ending. The habit's becoming your new normal. It's integrating at a psychological, emotional, and physical level. You're nearing what he calls the automaticity point, the moment where it's actually easier to get up at 5 a.m. than it is to sleep in. The willpower you needed before is now freed up for your next great habit. This 66-day framework is the practical key to making the 5 a.m. club a lifelong routine, not just a passing experiment. From India, the adventure continues to the historic streets of Rome. Standing atop the Spanish Steps at 5 a.m., the billionaire finally unveils the centerpiece of the entire system, the 20/20/20 formula. This is the exact blueprint for what to do during your victory hour, from 5 o'clock to 6 a.m. It's divided into 3 20-minute blocks. Pocket 1, 5 o'clock to 5:20 is for move. This means intense, sweaty exercise. As soon as you wake up, for 20 minutes, you need to move. This is non-negotiable. Why? Because of the science. First, exercise flushes out cortisol, the stress and fear hormone that peaks in the morning. Second, it releases something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is basically miracle grow for your brain. It repairs brain cells and speeds up learning. Third, it releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter of drive, and serotonin, the happiness chemical. So by 5:20, while everyone else is still asleep, your brain's already fired up, focused, and feeling fantastic. Pocket 2, 5:20 to 5:40 is for reflect. This is your time for stillness and silence. This is where you work on your heart set and soul set. For these 20 minutes, you can meditate, pray, or write in a journal. Journaling is incredibly powerful. It lets you process emotions, clarify thoughts, and set intentions for the day. It's a way to clear out mental and emotional clutter before the day begins. This period of quiet contemplation boosts self-awareness and reconnects you with your core values. Pocket 3, 5:40 to 6 o'clock is for grow. This is your learning time. For the final 20 minutes of your victory hour, you must educate yourself. Read a book, listen to a podcast, take an online course. The leader who learns the most wins. This is where you invest in your professional skills and personal mastery. By 6 o'clock, you've already worked on your body, mind, heart, and soul. You've set yourself up to win the day. This 20/20/20th formula is the engine of the 5 a.m. Club. It's the practical, step-by-step method that transforms the idea of waking up early into a life-changing ritual. But the journey's not over yet. From Rome, they fly to the vineyards of South Africa. Here, Mr. Riley teaches them about the twin cycles of elite performance. He explains that peak performance isn't linear. You can't just work harder and longer and expect better results. That's the fast track to burnout. Instead, the greatest achievers operate in cycles, like a heartbeat. They swing between what he calls a high excellence cycle (HEC) and a deep refueling cycle (DRC). The HEC is a period of intense, focused work, but just as important is the DRC, a period of rest, recovery, and fun. Growth, he explains, doesn't happen during the performance. It happens during the rest. Just like a muscle doesn't grow when you're lifting the weight, but when you're resting afterward. You must balance world-class work with deep renewal. Having fun, taking vacations, and spending time in nature aren't luxuries. They're necessities for sustained genius. The final lesson, and the emotional peak of their journey, happens on Robin Island, the desolate prison where Nelson Mandela spent 18 of his 27 years behind bars. The pilot of their helicopter? None other than the Spellbinder. Standing inside Mandela's tiny cell, they learn about his immense suffering, but more importantly, about his incredible capacity for forgiveness and his unwavering commitment to his ideals. Mandela's story becomes the ultimate lesson in heroism. The Spellbinder reveals the final framework, the 7 virtues of world changers. These are the qualities we must all aspire to: bravery, forgiveness, integrity, understanding, sincerity, politeness, and humility. He tells them that everyone has their own Robin Island, a private prison of fear, self-doubt, and past hurts that keeps them from their greatness. To become the hero of your own life, you must break free. You must turn your pain into power, your wounds into wisdom, and your trials into triumph. To lead, the Spellbinder says, is to be a force for good on this tiny planet.